Okay, I think we'll get started. Good morning, everybody. My name is Patricia Bennett, and I'm the founder and CEO of PC Bennett Solutions. With me, I have my partner and CEO of PC Bennett, Timo Sullivan, and our VP of Sales, Brian Tikoff. And we're going to get started. So, Brian, you have the floor.
All right, great. Thank you, Patricia, and thank you everyone for being here. We know you're excited to see the solution that we've developed for the automotive aftermarket. Before we do that, I did want to take a little bit just to give you an idea of who we are and where we fit into the whole Acumatica ecosystem. So different software publishers like Acumatica have different ways of going about how they market their products and sell and support them. Some sell directly, some sell directly in a channel, and some sell just through a channel. So Acumatica happens to be one that sells just through a channel, and those channels of value-added resellers or VARs are the people that do all the selling and supporting. We happen to be one of Acumatica's top VARs, and we've been with them as a founding partners since the software came out in 2009. We joined in 2010. And Timo Sullivan, who Patricia introduced, actually was involved in the heading up the first US-based implementation of Acumatica. And our VP of Solutions Architect was involved in the first international rollout, the very first one. So a lot of history there with the business. Over that time, we've gone from Patricia starting out on her own to adding a full development team and a number of different consultants and team members who support Acumatica. There are a lot of resellers for Acumatica, over 300 right now. So people always ask us what our differentiator is. And in addition to what I just described there, Tim and Patricia have a dedication to 100% customer satisfaction. And you may hear that from other people as well, but we've actually borne that out in the way we've been able to help our clients. And the results of that was that we won the Best Customer Service Award in 2018, and also a Customer Implementation of the Year a couple of years in a row. Also, we won an Acumatica Partner of the Year because of some innovative things we've done to help make the customer experience better. One thing is that we've gone to a fixed fee model for our implementations. So in the past, where you did time and materials, and like a construction project, it kind of ended up costing whatever it costed in addition to the overruns. We actually do a fixed fee bid. And we spread that out over a 3-year initial term, so you don't have to pay for it up front either, and no charges for any interest or anything like that. So that's combined with the software subscription and a customer care plan that provides unlimited support to give you just a flat monthly fee that you can know you're going to be paying each month and not have a big question mark about what you might be running into. And the last thing we did was there's a lot of expertise in our company on a lot of different ERP software, but they made the decision that we're going to go ahead and just focus 100% on Acumatica. And that's what we did. So I mentioned earlier we have a development team. So one of the things that our development team did recently was they built the payroll module for Acumatica, which we sold to Acumatica, and is now part of their standard offering. Another thing that we've done that is part of an area that's our niche market that we're going after because of Patricia's passion for the auto racing industry is we've developed something called AutoFitmentPlus, which is an add-in to Acumatica using the Acumatica tool set, and it just enhances the core Acumatica project by providing some fitment functionality and some VIN number functionality and a few other things to help make sure that your customers are getting the right products when you're helping them with their order placement. We've also developed integrations with some of the standard databases like ACES and PIs and the SEMA data co-op. So again, we'll tell you more about that later. One of the things that made this possible is Acumatica's got some great technology behind it. We think it's the best in the industry out there, and we can say that because we are a little bit biased, but it was actually borne out by some of the other software developers out there, software publishers. So you think about Acumatica being an Acumatica ERP software publisher. There's half a dozen others out there who said, we're trying to convert our legacy software to a new cloud product. It's really hard, it's really expensive, it takes a lot of time. And they reached out to Acumatica and said, can we just license your technology? Because you guys have done it right. So that's proof in the pudding on that one, when actual software publishers say it's the best out there. So anyway, that's One of the things that that then gives that strong platform is the true cloud environment. So we're not talking about having to do any installs on workstations or on mobile phones or anything. You're just, as long as you have a browser and an internet connection, you'll be able to, and obviously a valid user login and password, you'll be able to get in with any device, any operating system. So it's a true multi-tenant cloud environment. It's also got great technology in terms of integrations, and there's a number of built-in integrations or embedded integrations for things like connections to e-commerce through BigCommerce and Shopify, or credit card processing using Authorize.net, or reporting tools like Power BI. So great for doing that, and it seems like people want to do more and more of that every day. There's also a number of licensing options, from small business options with some named users to some mid-market options for unlimited users. And they've been very innovative in how they've done that, and as one of the big differentiators. Another big differentiator is the way you can deploy Acumatica. Most cloud software is just a multi-tenant SaaS, meaning it's you and several other companies on a server, and that's your only option. But although 90% of the Acumatica customers are on that public cloud or that multi-tenant SaaS, you do have the option to have a private cloud. And that private cloud is basically you're taking over the hosting responsibilities and maintaining the database. And there are a lot of companies out there that either have those capabilities or want to have that ability because of things like risk management, or in the healthcare industry, and they have data privacy issues, things like that. So anyway, the point is you do have options with Acumatica. Talked about the integrations earlier, so I'll just move past that one. You might have heard about artificial intelligence and machine learning. That's been some buzzwords as of late, but they're actually more than just buzzwords now. And there's things like optical character recognition that could automatically pull AP invoices in from an email. Security is a huge thing, and Amazon Web Services is where the multi-tenant SaaS is hosted, and they've done a great job of making sure our clients have all been kept secure. So all this has led to Acumatica being the fastest growing ERP and having over 6,500 customers now. But beyond the technology, the company itself is really fun to work with, because they've said, you know what, we want to treat people right. And one of the things that they've done is establish a customer bill of rights. And number 4 on there is just unheard of in our industry. And this has to do with annual price increases. It's very common for people to sign up initially, get some kind of a discount, and then all of a sudden their price doubles or goes up substantially year after year after that. So Acumatica said, we're never going to raise the price of the software by more than 3% when needed. And that's in writing, and it's in their policies and in their order forms. So it's something they stick to and committed to. So the core product itself with Acumatica, we've got the financials and customer management, and then built on top of that are what we call industry editions or bundles. And these bundles are essentially ways of grouping modules, but you can combine modules. So for example, the manufacturing edition also includes all the modules in the distribution edition. Or you might be using the distribution edition, but you also have an e-commerce site or a point of sale retail type site. So you can combine and mix and match those. But the bottom line is no matter how you do that, it's all part of one single connected system. You're not going to have to be doing any data entry or manual rekeying of things. There are a number of what are called ISVs, or independent software vendors, out there that provide third-party options for things like EDI and Avalara for sales tax and that type of thing. So that shows the maturity of the Acumatica product, that there's that many people committed to developing those products. And of course, reporting is always key for everyone. You want to have a lot of reports that are built into the system, but also ways to access the information using other industry standard tools like Power BI. And so Acumatica's open connectivity does a great job of letting you do that. So that's a brief overview. I thank you for your patience while I went through that. I know everybody always likes to get to the software, so I'm going to go ahead now and we'll turn it over to Tim for the software demo.
Thanks, Brian. Let me share my screen here. Okay. Patricia, Brian, can you see my login page?
Yep. Yes.
Perfect. So let me close this. Okay, good morning. And Thank you for joining our webinar this morning. I'm just going to take a high-level walkthrough with Acumatica in general, just for a few minutes, and then we're going to jump into the AutoFitmentPlus module that PC Bennett wrote for Acumatica. So let me get logged in. I'm going to log in as the administrator. So as administrator, I'm going to see pretty much everything in the system from a module standpoint. My rights give me access to everything. We are a role-based security system. So what does that mean for an end user is when I log in, I'm only going to see the menus or modules that I have access rights to. That deployment is really easy because once we associate a user to an access role, it immediately adjusts their menuing system and then the fields or selections within that menu of what they see. Again, you're seeing everything that I have available in the system now because of the access rights that I have enabled for my user. But a normal user with roles and responsibilities, they're only going to see the bits that they need to have access to. As Brian mentioned, Acumatica is a middle market ERP solution. At the core of our software solution it's a financial based GAAP compliant system. So at the end of the day, everything equals a debit and a credit in the back end. So everything is kind of built off of that hub, kind of a hub and spoke and wheel kind of model. And our additional modules all feed into that financial system, as well as our AutoFitmentPlus module. Just a couple of key features within Acumatica. One of the things that we get really excited about, and our new customers that are coming online with Acumatica, is our dashboarding capabilities. Within Acumatica, being able to see that data graphically to be able to make decisions on your business. We have a number of them just built in out of the box. These are the ones that are supported. We have a customer view. So if you wanted to see a 360-degree view of your business, you would come to the customer view page. And this is going to give you kind of a high level of here's all the orders I need to ship. If I'm managing, prospect opportunities that I need to kind of have a pipeline management, I could have that information on this page. Accounts receivable. So, what do I have outstanding to be bringing in as cash? If I'm doing support for my business to my end customers, I can track those support cases in Acumatica. And again, just gives you that quick, high-level view of your business in kind of one dashboard look. If I need to drill in and see additional information, when I hover over these, what Acumatica calls widgets, I just click on that and it takes me to the underlying detailed data. So now I can continue to kind of drill deeper and deeper into the system to get the information that I need as a user. Anywhere that Acumatica has a hyperlink, which is this kind of blue underlined text, I can then click on that and it takes me one level deeper into the system. In this instance, it's going to give me a pop-up of my sales order screen. So now I have a deeper look into what is being delivered on that sales order. And again, I can keep going down even to the item level just by continuing to click on the hyperlinks. So dashboards are really being popular with our customers now within Acumatica. They're taking these to levels that we never expected to be able to manage and see and control their businesses. One of the other nice features of Acumatica is this top search bar, which Acumatica calls the universal search. I use a Lego set in a lot of our demos. So I'm just going to type Lego here in the search box, and it breaks it down into 4 kind of tabular topic or heading topics where I have menu items. So if think of this search as kind of a Google for Acumatica. If I type Lego, if there are any menu items that have Lego in the menu item text, it will bring them here. Any transactions that I have, it's going to show up on the transactions and profiles tab. Any help topics are there, and then any files that might be in that system are going to show up. The other thing that that is kind of nice is this favorite. So Acumatica has spent a lot of time developing the UI, so it's getting the user to the information that they need to do their job quickly. So when I'm in maybe a journal transaction screen, a couple things that I'll just mention right here. So I have these kind of quick tiles or jump points where I could enter a new journal transaction right from this tile. The other way to do it is if I hover over my journal transaction screen, I can hit the new button. Or kind of going back to that favorites, if I want to tag this as something that I do quite frequent, I just click the star button and that turns it gold. And then now in my favorite section, I'm going to see that favorites show up in that favorites menu. Saving in the background, there we go. So now I show the journal transaction screen as my favorites. Again, it's just that quick jump point to get that user to the to their workflow sooner and quicker than having to go through a bunch of clicks and menus to get there. Power of the browser. So this can't be understated with Acumatica. So if I want to have a number of different screens open, I can just duplicate that tab a number of times. And then now I can go into each of these and have different screens open at one time in my browser. And we'll just go do a payable and we'll do a bill and adjustment here. So now I have a journal transaction list, which is showing all my journals. If I click on one, I can take it into, sorry about that, hang on one second. I can take it into a specific journal to see the detail. I can see the list of all my sales orders. I can open one up and have it on the screen. And the same with my bills and adjustments. I can go in and have all of these open. And then once all of those are open, if I have multiple monitors, I can now strip off, one of those tabs and move it over to another monitor. If I've got 3 or 4 monitors, I can have these, kind of surrounding me in kind of a command center view. I also have the ability to increase or decrease the text size. So if it's a little bit harder to see, I can blow it up just using the power of the browser. So that's a little bit of the highlights of just kind of core Acumatica. One of the other things that as PC Bennett, so if you look at our website, one of the things that kind of we kind of live, breathe, eat, sleep, all of the above is, this imagining one business software system for your entire company. And that's something that we do. We not only sell it, we implement it, we train on it, we customize it, and we support. And Acumatica is the only thing that we do. And as part of that, what we did is we came up with this AutoFitmentPlus. But in collaboration with that and Acumatica, one of the things that we're doing kind of in this next release of AutoFitment is we're tying it together with the e-commerce platforms. So Acumatica has integrations with BigCommerce and Shopify, and we are now tying that in to where you are now going to be able to have kind of a end-to-end business solution where we have the ability to, link in this instance, I have the integration with BigCommerce loaded on this demo site to where I can actually go in and pick a BigCommerce store and link it to my Acumatica and have a seamless kind of flow from the front end experience with the customer all the way through the order process and then out the door as a shipment to the customer. As part of that, again, as Brian mentioned, we developed this module. PC Bennett developed it to kind of round out the ability to do fitment components within Acumatica. And that's what I want to take a few minutes now to kind of walk through. What does that look like within Acumatica? So we'll start in the fitment module. And again, if I didn't tell you that fitment was a third-party add-in solution, you wouldn't know, because it looks, you know, the form, fit, and function of the plugin is, it looks like just core Acumatica. It just seamlessly rolls through the menus. The screens all have kind of the same look and feel that core Acumatica does, because we have built it on the Acumatica XRP development platform. And kind of breaking it down into the pieces that you see here, on our fitment module, we have a profile section, an inquiries, preferences, vehicles section, and then another. And we'll walk through these, and then we'll do a sales order as a demonstration. One of the things that we've added in this release is the ability to look up a VIN number and pull back the vehicle information from a lookup service for VIN numbers. So if I go into the vehicle VIN, it's going to show me all the VINs that I have associated in my system, either to a customer or not, but that I've defined. So these are VIN numbers that I've defined the vehicles that I'm looking at, and I can associate them with customers or a contact within that customer or an actual vehicle owner. So I have a lot of flexibility with when I establish a vehicle VIN in Acumatica, being able to tag that to specific entities within that. So we'll just pick this one. It's an Oldsmobile Alero 1999. And if I needed to, I could establish an owner for this vehicle with the license plate and state that they may reside in. I can also have a customer contact. So we work with a number of entities that work with car dealerships. So the customer contact could be the dealership, and then we could also have an owner that actually owns that vehicle that they're taking in to that dealership. So once I have this added, I could either add it manually here from this screen, or as we walk through the demonstration today, you'll see I'll be able to do it on the fly from the sales order. So let's go back to our fitment menu, and then we can go, and again, as I establish vehicle owners, those owners are going to show up in a vehicle owners screen. On the inquiries, so we have the ability to assign year, make, model, and other vehicle field level data to an item within Acumatica. And this inquiry screen just allows us to pull that data out in kind of a list view to be able to see, you know, by item, you know, what year, make, model, and then all of these other data points that I have associated right now with that specific vehicle. You can see I can do a date range. So if I want to cover, you know, if this air filter is applicable to a 2003 to 2010 Chevrolet Silverado 1500, then I can define that in a year range. Or as I have on this one, this just fits a 2007 Avalanche, but then you can see I've also broken it out kind of vertically instead of horizontally, where I've got each year model defined. So the ability to kind of give that pivoting and that matrix kind of look to be able to then do fitments filtering on the sales order is extremely powerful. So we'll go back.
I'm going to interrupt you for a second.
Yeah.
As you guys watch this demonstration, if you have any questions, please put them down in the Q&A section of the Zoom meeting, and we'll go ahead and answer them.
Perfect. We also have the ability to establish vehicle classifications. So this is where I can define that year, make, model, submodel, engine designation, fuel type, and we have the ability to expand these and then also include what we call attributes or user-defined fields, which I can then pretty much have unlimited data points or metadata that I can associate with a specific vehicle classification. I also have the ability to look at that kind of from an item level. So if I go back and look at that air filter that we looked at in that previous screen, now I'm just seeing that data in a little bit different view, where here's my item, which is an air filter, and now I'm seeing all of the vehicle classifications that have fitment with that specific item ID. Our preferences screen. So this is where we have the ability to kind of manipulate how our fitment module is going to work. In this instance, I have VIN entry as optional, so it's not a required field on our sales order. I can make that a valid entry required, or I can, have a partial VIN. If I'm not able to get the full VIN number, I can, make a partial. I can auto number it if it's empty, or if I don't want that to be tracked at all, I can just turn that off and it will disable it from the field. We actually use a VIN decoding system in the background. So using our Acumatica's API to be able to do a lookup. So I'll actually do that as we walk through the demonstration in the sales order, where I enter a VIN number and then it goes out to the service and then pulls back all the vehicle information. And I've actually have that service activated, so it does it automatically. If this was unchecked, then I would have to run that either as a separate process or enable it. And then I can save that extended VIN information into the notes fields at the vehicle level, and also that gets pushed over to the sales order level as well. If you already have notes in the system, I can engage either to replace and override it, to append it, or not change it at all. I'm just going to leave it as replace. And then I can log some VIN decoder errors if I need to. That's not really something, it's more for our developers right now as we're going through this. And then I have some order entry filtering that I can do, where I can filter stock items for filter or fitment, same with non-stock. And then I can activate that filtering or not on different modules within the system. So we support currently the sales order module and our service order filtering and warranty sections. And then I can also determine, which fields are going to show up on on our vehicle classification and the filtering side of it. And I have the ability to, I think it's 4 headers and then a number of additional filters and then others as needed. And then I can also determine how I want to add that vehicle data in the system. And then I have which is the numbering sequence that I'm going to use for my vehicle classes. So when I add a new vehicle class classification, it's just going to auto number the next one with a serial number or a sequential number. And then the vehicle definitions are all under this vehicle section. So we've already looked at the vehicle classifications, but now I can go into the different make, model, submodel, and all of that. In this instance, we pulled a lot of this sample data from the ACEs and PIs. And I know Patricia, I'm not going to talk about it, but she can talk about kind of down the road, what does the roadmap look like for bringing that into kind of a push button situation where we can upload the fitment data or your products from Acumatica back into the ACEs and PIs, and the SEMA data exchange, I think, is the other one. So a lot of different ways to do that. But what we did is we pulled down a number of those kind of makes from that database to populate our core demo system. So I've got 360 makes currently in the system. Again, I can add additional ones as I need to, just by clicking the plus button and adding a new make. Same with the rest of these. I won't go through all of them because they work pretty much the same. So on the model, I can have the different models that are out there. Same with submodels. So this would be kind of like your trim record. Then engines and engine base, fuel type, engine designation, body types, number of doors, and drive types. The VIN decoder log is just, again, something that we're using internally right now, but it could be something that an end customer may want to know if the VINs are not recording properly. So let's see, how does that look on kind of an order side. But first, I'm going to go into the inventory so that you can see how you establish the fitment for the various items. And we'll just use that same air filter. And you'll see in, again, core Acumatica, again, if I hadn't told you that this was an add-on application, you wouldn't know it, because it just looks like and feels just like core Acumatica. We've added this fitment tab. So now if I click on the fitment tab, you'll see the ranges and models that I've established for this item. So 2001 Chevrolet Silverado, 2002, and then a 2003 through 2010. So I'm covering basically 2001 to 2010 in that situation. Same with the Chevrolet Avalanche. So it's basically saying the 999 is just saying that there's no top end to the date. So if you added new year models, they would be covered in that range for a Chevy Avalanche in that instance. So this is where you would assign that this item would have a fitment record to it. And these are the vehicles that would allow us to be able to search on. So we'll use this, in the actual sales order side of it now. So
one thing I want to point out in that screen that Tim was on is that we have the ability to import. So if you have hundreds of vehicles that fit this particular item, we can import them from a CSV file or an Excel file and bring them in, so you don't have to type them one by one.
Absolutely. So let's go into a sales order and we'll create a new one. And I'm actually going to go into a random VIN generator, and I'm going to grab this VIN number. Hopefully it's a good one. And basically all I have to do is establish the initial customer. So I'm going to select my favorite AA customer. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste that VIN number into my vehicle VIN and tab off and then save it. And when I tab off and save it, you'll see it automatically called the Data One VIN service. And it pulled back that this was a 2009 Nissan Altima. And it populated my year, make, model with that. And it established a vehicle class for that if one didn't exist. So when I save, if that vehicle class did not exist, it now has created that for that 2009 Nissan Altima. And at this point, what I can do is I can say it was a car dealership. I can pull a contact record for that. So this would be my dealership contact. But say, I need to establish an owner for that vehicle. I'm going to be, John Smith, and you'll see I don't have any John Smiths in the system already, but when I tab off, it's going to create that owner record for me in the background. And then what it's done is it's tied this owner record to that VIN vehicle classification for that VIN number. So if I go to this little pencil beside the vehicle VIN, it's going to create a pop-up screen for me, and it's going to show me the vehicle classification information for that. And Oh, I didn't hit save. So hang on one second. Let me hit save. So when I hit save, now it's tied those two together. If I go back into that screen, you'll see now my owner shows up on my vehicle VIN record. It's also associated with that customer, say a dealership, the contact within that dealership, say maybe a service manager. And then if I have a license plate, so we're going to do Acumatica 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm in Dallas, Texas, so we're going to pick Texas. And now I've basically completed a vehicle VIN record for this owner. Their license plate and state is going to be now associated with that. If the customer was the owner of the vehicle, I could override that, just select that, and now that contact within that customer would be the owner of this vehicle VIN. So now if I refresh this page, what will happen is my license plate information will come in now because I stored that on the vehicle side. And then we can now then go do a fitment. So you'll see I have a vehicles details tab here, and that vehicle details tab is going to, I'm currently filtering on that vehicle class for the 2009 Nissan Altima sedan. So if I hit apply and close, when I go down to my add stock item, it's going to look in Acumatica and pull back any items that are available for that 2009 Nissan Altima. As you can see, I don't have any currently available where I have quantity, but if I uncheck that, it's going to look at all my items. So again, I don't have any fitments tied to that specific vehicle designation. So what can I do now? So at that point, I can come back to my vehicle details and I can say, well, you know, I want to blow out the vehicle class, and you know, maybe I don't want a Nissan Altima, but I want to see, are there anything out there with 2009 Nissan? So I can hit apply and close and then go to the add stock item. And then again, it's going to keep looking at that. I can keep going through that process to where I can now say, well, do I have any Nissans out there? And I apply and close it. And then it's going to resort my data and see if there was anything out there. So I didn't. So I'm going to just now blank out Nissan and just use the year, and hopefully we get something. So now I have a fitment for a 2009 vehicle of some sort. It was the Chevrolet Silverado 1500. So I could add this air filter now if I wanted to, just by selecting it, or if I had multiple, I could pick the multiple items. I can override the quantity and then hit add and close. And then that is going to add my inventory item to my sales order. I could also go back and we can see a little bit better. I'm going to create a new one here. And I'm going to just add my customer. And then I'm going to do the 2003. And as I start typing, you'll see I start getting the list of vehicles that I have available. And then if I click on that, I can type 1500. And we'll just do the 1500. And then now if I go to add stock items, well, let's just do this. It's probably my model that's killing it. So I'm going to go add stock items and I'm going to uncheck available. And now we're going to see all the items that are available in the system that meet that 2003 Chevrolet make and year make combination. And then at that point, once you have the order and you've assigned the items via the fitment, then standard Acumatica takes on at that point. So I could then push that order through to a shipment to be able to then fulfill that order to that owner or that individual that's placing the order, either from my customer service group, which is kind of how this demo is set up, or if it came through via the e-commerce site. If they enter their VIN or their year, make, model, then that would push through from either BigCommerce or Shopify. That's what I wanted to show this morning or afternoon. If you have any questions, please let one of us know or respond in the chat and Q&A. We'll be happy to answer. And I'll turn it over to Patricia so she can talk about roadmap and new features coming up.
Thank you, Tim. Really appreciate your presentation. All I have is our goal is to have a system that will work in the automotive industry, whether you're a distributor and you're just distributing parts, or if you are a manufacturing company that is manufacturing aftermarket parts, so parts for automotive, or if you're an installer or a service provider. At this point, we don't do repair shops, but we do installations. And we also do service outside of your shop. So if you send a truck to install or to service a particular type of vehicle, we can help you with software in that. So if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to call us. You can email sales@pcbennett.com or give us a call at 425-831-7924. Thank you so much for attending, and we look forward to hearing from you.